All right, I think we got everybody in. Let's go ahead and get started. So, just a quick check-in. I wanted to hear from anybody that wants to talk. Hopefully, all of you guys do. I want to share what you guys are doing on that one thing. Remember, we asked us that just focus on one thing you want to change. Put all your time and energy and efforts into that one thing. So, I wanted to hear from anybody that wants to share about that. Anybody?
I just caught the end of that, asking people to share, but I'm not sure what I'm sharing.
Share on that one thing you're focused on.
Actually, the one thing I'll share again, the one thing I'm focused on is, even though life gives you distractions, even finding those little pockets of time to do positive activity to move myself forward, because all that little positive activities, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 30 minutes there, all adds up. It's much better to do those little bits of activity than say, I only have 5 minutes, I won't do anything. So just just find something smart to do, and, get a little bit done, because every little bit turns into a lot of bit, I guess.
That's a great point. So Kurt just nailed it. So do something, even if it's just a little bit. My excuse used to be, now I've read close to 1,000 books. My excuse used to be, what I told one of my mentors is that, hey, I can't read books because my attention span is so short that if I want to read the whole thing through, because I'm afraid when I put it down, I come back to it, I forgot what I read. Now it makes no sense to me. Well, that was just a flat out excuse. And he said, readers are leaders and leaders are readers. And he said, you can never meet with me again or have any time with me again unless you commit to being a reader. So I did. But you know what it was? It was a small little time. Think about this. We're exactly where we are today based on a small, tiny compounding effect, right? We made a decision, and then a decision, then it became a habit, then it became ingrained in our brain, and we keep doing those things over and over again. Some of those are really good habits, like brushing your teeth, right? And some of them are not so good habits, like maybe vegging out all the time on social media and watching TV and all those things that rob you of your greatness, right? So Kurt, thank you for sharing that. That's a great point of where we are.
Right now, I'm concentrating on passing a cybersecurity test that is driving me insane. So that's taken up all of my night last night, all of my morning thus far this morning. And to get on this, I had to block out of it, which means it's going to send me all the way back through it again, which, according to my test answers, I probably need. So that's where I am.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to take a break and mental reset and then jump back in. So yeah, I what I'll say about that is chat is your friend, and most things that you do, you can partner with chat on the journey. So I'll just say that it's helped me out multiple different things that I've been trying to crack the code on or work through online, and so hopefully that'll help you. Anybody else have that?
Yeah, actually, just to jump in there, Bill, on the cybersecurity classes, I still have to do mine, but I've talked to a few other agents, let's say, and we'll just kind of leave that vague. That working through that, we found, or excuse me, hypothetically, somebody has found that a tool called Perplexity actually gives more accurate responses to the cybersecurity quiz than chat does.
Nice. There we go. There you go. There's a good one for you.
Perplexity.
I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Keep that in mind. I have taken the test so many times that I don't even remember the ones I got right before, and I'm missing those. So it's just insane.
Basically, what that tool is, it's like Google on steroids. So it's if you ever need to do deep data gathering, that's the one to do. If you want to do like data analysis, that's when you go to chats and Claudes and those types of things. So anytime I'm trying to extract facts or research things, that's my go-to.
Thank you.
And it gets really cool when you start taking results out of perplexity and throwing them into chat and vice versa. Then it just gets to be fun.
Oh, I love it. There you go. So that's one of the advantages of being on Mindset Revolution, right? You guys get to hear some cool stuff that maybe you didn't even plan on, right? It wasn't even part of the topic, the subject. Remember, we're all in this together. That's one of the mantras of this journey together on this show, Bill Corman's Mindset Revolution, is that we're all in this, the human race, like we're all in this race together. One thing we know for sure is we're not getting out of this thing alive. So how can we live our life between the dashes to go crush it? Right? That's the foundation of this this show, the podcast, whatever you want to call it. That's the goal. The target of this is that how do we live the most amazing life possible? The life for me, this is what I believe that God has planned for me, the seeds of greatness he planted inside of me. How do I get those things to understand what they are, get those to come out so I can live the most amazing life between the dashes, the born on date and the expiration date, right? In between that. I've heard it said many times that some of the greatest information and greatest inventions in history currently lie in the cemeteries, right? Because people had them inside of them. They let fear of the unknown, fear of failure, all those other things. And we know here at Bill Corman's Mindset Revolution that fear stands for face everything and rise, right? That's it. So so anybody else have a one thing that they want to share that they're focused on, and we're going to jump into today's topic.
Yes, I'm putting my thoughts together there, bro.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Well, the one thing we've been focusing on is this week is spending the time reading in the morning, specifically in the morning, and not just when it's available, not just when it's convenient, if you will. And the little habit that we've switched just in the last couple of weeks is back in the day, you might remember this, and big old smile come across your face. Used to carry books with us everywhere we went, right? And so I have my special black bag that's leathered, looks like 30 years old, has stains on it, but it goes with me everywhere I go. I get compliments from everybody. I meet people all the time that way too. And I'm constantly pulling out a book whenever I have a few minutes. And so going on to what you just said, those daily compounding effects of what you do builds and builds. And I will submit for myself and see if anybody else can relate to. When I have done that, what's unlocked in me in the last couple of months is that spending that time and getting those thoughts and thinking of things that are noble and true and honest and virtuous and all the things that in the good book it says to focus on has unlocked my creativity, if you will. It's unlocked my imagination, if you will, which is the foundation of our success, because that helps each one of us visualize potentially our future and our direction and how powerful that. We've talked about vision. We've talked about vision boards. We've talked about being able to picture your life in the future. So that's where I found, and it just reaffirmed where that comes from, the how to do it. It's just opened other areas where I think we will, not intentionally, but we'll shut down sometimes our creativity on the things when we're in survival mode in life. And focusing on so much that we don't spend enough time just with ourselves in a reflective moment in looking at our future and just with ourselves and with our Lord who gives us that message like you were speaking to when he speaks to us. So if you bear with me, something like I said, going back to writing, I'll put in our community something I wrote recently and see if you can all enjoy it. So my message is read more, spend time with more. We call it spend time with your dream, but spend time with you and who you want to be and where you want to go and who you want to be with, and unlock the creativity and the imagination that is still inside of each one of us. And don't be the one taking that song of life to the grave, like you spoke of also. Speak out.
I love it.
Speak what you want. Power of command. Speak
So
up what you want, not what you don't want.
your one thing is focusing on unlocking the imagination, right? So that opens up the door to all these other things. All right. I
Correct.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So let's jump in. Today, the topic is 7 billionaire principles they won't tell you. How about that? Right. So as I started at the beginning of the show saying, look, if somebody's goal is to be a millionaire, maybe, and then today they used to be like out like, oh my God, they're a millionaire. Well, today we have billionaires, and one gentleman and who is probably going to be in the next couple of years a trillionaire, Elon Musk. And so things are evolving in our mindset, right? What it takes. So what $1 million would buy 20 years ago is not the same today, right? The cost of inflation. So we constantly have to up our game. More importantly, understand the game, right? Understand the game. So just like a breakthrough in a relationship requires knowledge, understanding, and then persistency, right? In the process of continuing to work on those things over and over and over again, even when you don't see results. The same thing happens with a mindset around money, right? And we call it a money blueprint. And most of us, our money blueprint is, again, just like everything else in life, is a byproduct, is a byproduct of small systematic things that we've done or said, the environment we've been around. We've been programmed. The brain is a computer. So it's the world's most complex computer on that exists. We know to man today. It's the most complex. It's the most misunderstood. We only understand a fraction of it. Depending on what studies you look at, they say that we use anywhere from 5 to 20% of it. Imagine what our lives will look like when we can learn how to use 50% of it, or 70 or 100. Isn't that crazy to think about? So since we only use a fraction of it, the things that we do know about it is that it is a computer. And what you program to it via input, aka writing code, which is being programmed from our parents, our environment. Some of it is a little bit of it is genetic. Used to be the thought was a lot of it was genetic, and now through neuroscience they're proving that it's not so much. You can actually rewire the brain, remap the brain through autosuggestion, through hypnosis. I don't know if you guys know if you've done any research on that, but there's hypnotherapists out there that have do it. So it started with funny things, right? Where you would get hypnotized and would say, hey, when I say dog, you're going to immediately stand up and bark like a dog. And people go, oh, you can't do that to me. And we've seen shows and all that stuff where it actually, maybe you've been in a show like that where it actually happened. So it's proven that you can take somebody into a hypnotic state like that and reprogram the brain. Not everything, but some things, like they use it for medical conditions, stop smoking, things like that. Powerful. So we understand it is real, and we are the byproduct of a systematic programming, right? Where the code was written, and then we're like, oh, that's a tough code. So guess what happened? We rewrote it again. We wrote the same code the next day, and it led to things that are positive, like remembering to brush your teeth every morning and every night, right? We were programmed from the time we were young to do that. And hopefully most of us still remember to do that. Shout out to all of our dental professionals and stuff out there that constantly beat us up and remind us of doing that. Or maybe you hear mom's voice, dad's voice still playing in the background saying before you try to go to bed, hey, did you brush your teeth? Oh man, I forgot. Let me get it done. So these principles I'm about to show you, the 7 principles that billionaires use that they won't tell you. And again, that's kind of facetious, because if you find the right billionaire, if you approach billionaires the right way, anybody follow this really cool young dude called the School of Hard Knocks, right? Anybody seen all of his stuff on social media? Amazing, amazing young man. Really, really cool. I'm actually thinking about working with him and his company on some marketing stuff. Just been following him. I've been following him for almost 3 years now and watching what he's done in his brand. Well, guess what he did? He refused to accept no for an answer. What you don't see on all those videos is how many people he approached about interviewing that told him, get out of here. Who are you? Leave me alone. The security team bounced him, all that kind of stuff. We don't get to see that. We see the actual interviews. Some of them you see where they told him, hey, they're walking away, and he still gets them the interview. But again, if you talk with wealthy people, if you approach in the right way, you have a connection with them, most of them will actually sit down with you and show you some things. One of the most powerful things you can say is, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Can I take you to lunch? Right? Can I take you to breakfast? All right. If you've got enough money, then you can say, can I take you to dinner? Right. Can we get together? But for busy, wealthy people and executives, the most powerful thing you can say, can we have coffee together? If they're not in your state, or you can't fly to them, or that they are super, super, super full, their schedule full. We don't say busy, right? We say full. Shout out to the 168 game. We say the word full, not busy. You can say, let's have a virtual coffee. Right? We're right now we got a coffee cup here, and sip on it throughout the show. And we're talking about billionaire principles. So let's jump into it. Let me share my screen here. Shout out to my nephews on here. Isaiah, what's happening? And let's see. Share screens. Let's jump into this. I was super excited putting this together. One of the that I came up with that helped when I was researching that helped me put this together is some things that I gathered from Warren Buffett and some things I gathered from Charlie Munger. Does everybody know who Charlie Munger is? Right? He's the other half of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's business partner, but Charlie normally is in the background. You don't normally hear a lot from Charlie. He wrote an incredible book. It is like it's like a very thick book, but it's got pictures in it. My favorite, right? Just like what I like to read. I like books that have pictures in them. Has a lot of pictures. It's called Uncle Charlie's Almanac. Uncle Charlie's Almanac. If you guys want to do some King Follow On reading and all the stuff from this particular topic, I highly recommend you pick up Uncle Charlie's Almanac. Well, in there, he discusses several of these principles. So I got some from there. I got some from other interviews. I got some from, this was talked about on a podcast a couple of months ago I listened to. Just real quick, can you guys see the main screen, or do you see the one with the notes?
We see the main presentation.
Okay, perfect. All right. I always have to check in, make sure, because I've got 4 screens and I'm not sure what you're seeing. All right. So these are 7 billionaire principles they won't tell you about. Okay. So we're going to cover 7 mindset moves billionaires won't tell you about. This is the Bill Corman's Mindset Revolution podcast. As you guys know, we also own a company called Built for Life Financial Agency. And we actually recommend, so anybody watching this on replay, if you would like to learn how to actually build legacy, we would love for you to schedule a legacy call with us, and we'll walk you through it. By the way, it is free. I know from my pastor and reading scripture that the human brain and biblical scripture says if for us to understand things as humans, you have to hear it 3 times. So let me say it 2 more times, free and free. All right. So we got that out of the way. Let's jump in. The other thing you guys know is that the premise of this show, the premise of this podcast, and by the way, the first week of December, the Bill Corman's Mindset Revolution radio show and podcast kickoff, along with the Dollar Bill show. So if anybody wants to have a real life, not pie in the sky, but real life conversations about money, finance, money talks is what it's to be called. The Dollar Bill show will also be launching the first week of December. If anybody wants to tap into that, we'll share some information with you on how to do that. So it'll be actually on the radio, and it'll also be a podcast. Both of those shows will be full radio shows weekly, and podcasts that will put content out for you weekly. One of my mentors that's training me in the radio business and podcast business, he said, we make content that doesn't suck. That's it. He said, that's my motivational. So many of you guys that have been on Bill Corman's Mindset Revolution, many of you got to see, or if you haven't, go back and watch the episode where we had my business partner in the radio business, Danny Z. He's actually in Romania right now, recording some stuff for Got Talent, and it's really, really cool. But we own Star 97 and WBLR 99.9 radio stations together. And what we are in a process of building out for everybody around the world is content that doesn't suck, content that moves the needle, content that makes a difference for you in your life. So we know life is the struggle's real, and we want to bring stuff to you that helps every single day normal middle-class American families on how to move the needle. So that's more coming. So the 168 game. The 168 game, the game of life, this is the most precious asset, right? We know time. What do billionaires do differently than millionaires and broke people? They use their time differently. Instead of wasting time, instead of doing tasks that you know how to do, they realize that time can be leveraged by hiring other people to do those things. They realize by using technology and automations and things like that, that can change the way you free up your life. You have time to do other things that have always been on your wish list, right? So we're talking time ownership and not time management. So let's learn the mindset of those who build legacies. Let's talk about these billionaires and the strategy. So mindset move number one, know your circle of competence, right? Know your circle of competence. Understand what you are great at and what you're not. So there's a book out there called Strength Finders. If you haven't gone through Strength Finders, I highly recommend that you get the book. It comes, if you buy the book, the full book, not the discount and not the audio book, but you buy the full book, it comes with their survey for you to identify and go through the process of Strength Finders so you identify your strengths. What most of us try to do, what we've been taught to do, is we see other people are successful and they go, oh, they're good at public speaking. Well, I can't do anything until I learn how to be a good public speaker. So we sign up for courses, we buy books because we want to get better at public speaking. But if that's not your strong suit, you may eventually work on that, but that's not the thing that's going to move the needle right now. The thing that moves the needle right now is doing an inventory of what you're good at and what you're not. Okay, stay in your lane of excellence. Warren Buffett talks about this when it comes to investing. He says, stop chasing the shiny object, right? Stop chasing the newest, latest, greatest thing. And if you're going to be an investor, invest in things you know about. If you drink Coca-Cola, it's one of his favorite lines, then you invest in and you buy stock in Coca-Cola. You don't buy stock in Pepsi. Why? Because you don't like it, right? You don't drink it. It's the same thing like if you like a certain company where you buy your fuel for your car, and let's say it's Shell or Exxon, I'm not endorsing in any one of them, but let's say it's, for example, Exxon. Well, guess what you do if you're an investor? You stop at Exxon's, right? If you see 4 and 1's 2 miles down the road, you'll drive 2 extra miles to buy gas at Exxon because that's the one that you like and that's the one you invest in. So learn to stay in your lane of excellence. Figure out what you're good at and double down on that. Stop chasing the shiny objects. Stop trying to sign up for 42 courses and all the things that you need to improve on. So I highly recommend that everybody watching this show, listening to the show, that you get the book Strength Finders, you go through the survey and assessment, and you'll see from the course and the questionnaire, and there's a course available after that, how do you double down on the things that you're really good at? And watch how your life amplifies when you just focus on the things you're really good at. Okay, reflection. What are uniquely excellent, right? If we were to interview 10 people, what would they say that you really are good at? And then I guarantee you, if you take the 1 or 2 top things that everyone that knows you says you're really good at, and you double down on that, you will be sensational. You will achieve success in your life. You will have a bliss in the areas of life that you want because you stop spreading your energy out all over the place. Attention is a true currency, right? Attention is a true currency of the wealthy. And the problem is broke people spend their attention everywhere. And wealthy people strategically spend their attention, right? So think about attention like money. Broke people that are living paycheck to paycheck, broken mindset, broken money, spend it everywhere. They chase the shiny objects, the latest, greatest things, the newest, coolest gadgets. They're spending their attention everywhere. Not their money, they're spending their attention everywhere. Whereas wealthy people, they know how valuable attention is, and they concentrate it down on the 1 or 2 things that they're going to become sensational at. Let's see. All right. Mindset move number 2. Think long-term, right? Think long-term. You don't have to have an actual written plan, but you need to have thoughts about long-term. If you were to reverse engineer your life and you said, look, no matter what, I'm going to retire at age 55, no matter what. So, okay, good. So now we have long-term, we have the long-term target is full retirement at 55. Then we need to say, what is life like at 55? What do I want that lifestyle to look like? Where do I live? What do I own my home? Am I renting? Do I have multiple homes? Do I have, it's a smaller, did I downsize? Am I traveling the world? List out all those things. That's the long term. And then you work backwards from there, right? Don't chase quick wins, play the long game. Shortcuts don't build legacy, consistency does. I just talked about attention. Think about consistency the same way. So what wealthy people do is they focus their attention because they know that the opposite is broke people spend their attention like a currency, money. They spend it everywhere, where wealthy people take it and they strategically spend it in one area. Then they know that they need to add consistency, right? So you have attention, right, where your focus is going, and you need consistency. Here's another thing that broke people do. Broke people mentally in their mindset, and people that are broke in their bank account, is they constantly are pulling out the seed to see if it's growing, right? We've talked about the bamboo effect on here many times. What wealthy people do, billionaires do, is they understand that bamboo's growing. They know it. Why? Because they've seen other people do it, right? It's not magic. We if someone else, one person in the world has done it, we know it's possible. We're not talking about a philosophy that is a thought up thing in a boardroom. We're talking about success principles that we know that millions of people throughout history have done it. So shortcuts don't build legacies. Consistency does. So once you have your plan, you need to stay consistent, lock yourself in, create an accountability system, accountability partner that keeps you consistent on what you do, and don't pull out the seed to check and see if it's growing. A reflection for you: what short-term pleasure is costing your legacy, right? Are you constantly scrolling social media? Are you spending hours upon hours throughout the week watching TV? Think about what if it was an hour or 2 hours, what that time could be invested in your future. What thing could you give the attention to that changes attention from that TV, social media, whatever you're wasting your time on? Move that attention and consistency over to something that's going to move the needle to what you want. Now that's mindset move number 2. Mindset move number 3. Build the lattice work of mental models, right? So everybody knows what lattice is, right? It's got the little cross sections that go on it. A lot of people use it around to accentuate the bottom of their decks. So build the lattice work of mental models. Use insight from psychology, economics, and faith, right? So let's look at this. So again, you guys know on this show, on this podcast here, that you guys know that what my beliefs are, and we respect everybody around the world on their beliefs, 100%. There's no judgment. Whatever you believe is what you believe, but I will never be apologetic about what I believe, and that's what the beautiful thing about this show is that we address real life issues, real topics. We talk real. It's no pie in the sky. It's not fluff. This is real life stuff. This is the human race, that we're all in this together. So let's talk about that. Wherever you get your power from, wherever you feel your power comes from, your faith, your belief. For me, it's my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's where, in God, is where my power comes from. That faith allows me to overcome things that I couldn't even remotely imagine me as a human being overcoming. You may be able to wrap your head around that. You may not. So my question to you then is that, where do you see your faith, your energy comes from? Does it just come from going to bed at night, getting up the next day, eating good foods, energizing your body? Is that where it comes from? Okay, well, that's your belief. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So wherever that comes from and however you get it, do more of that. Do more of the thing that energizes you every single day. There's also psychology around that, right? So if you do that enough times over and over again, guess what happens? Transformation. We talked about this in the previous episode a couple of weeks ago, that now they've discovered through mapping the brain and neuroscience that if you want to change something, you want to create a new, good, positive habit, you don't try to eliminate the old one. You just start the new one, and through consistent effort over and over again, a new groove is formed in the brain. And the old one just starts to go away and smooths out. There's no eraser to erase it. It just goes away over time because the energy is focused to the new groove in the brain. So it's powerful because it just literally takes a commitment to change what you're doing now, your daily routine, a habit, commit to do the new habit, have tools that remind you, like alerts and stuff on your phone, using technology. If you're in the business world, I highly recommend you use the CRM, a business intelligence hub, something that can track and remind and automate things for you, so it makes it easier for you to cross the finish line, right? Or simpler. We won't say easy, we'll say simple. Let me replace that, right? So not easier, simpler. It makes things simpler because a lot of times when things are difficult or very complex, we tend to stay away from them. So that's where our goal is. Our goal is to simplify life so we're more likely to stick to the change that we've made. In economics, right? Let's think about economics. We've talked about this a couple of times on the show. We're going to talk about it every single week on the Dollar Bill Show about money, finance, family, budgeting, legacy, all that kind of cool stuff. But economics are also pretty simple to understand if you leverage technology. You can literally go to chat and say, I'm a middle-class American, or middle-class wherever, or you're in the middle of the road financially, wherever country you're in, if you're watching this, the country, and just say, I would like for you to build me out a step-by-step scripted plan on how to increase my wealth. Now, again, it's probably not going to have the actual step-by-step and what to invest on stuff, but it'll give you a good enough outline to get started. And amazed being alive today. Elon Musk said, if you're not super excited to be alive at one of the greatest times ever in human history, there's something wrong with you. And my answer to that is, if you're not there, there's nothing wrong with not being okay. There's something wrong with not staying there. So this is a mindset revolution. So my challenge to you on that is that if you're not excited, if things you're having struggles, your challenges right now, please seek out counseling. Please talk to a friend, reach out to someone that can help you. Tell them, what you're thinking, that you've got these barriers or things that are holding you back. Because I can promise you, if it's happening in your personal life, it's probably happening in your career, and it's happening in your business life as well. So there's 100%. Please hear me. Please hear my heart. There's nothing wrong with not being okay. There's something very wrong with staying there. And today, with technology, resources, access to, counseling and things like that, free resources that are available all over the world. Please, if you feel that you're stuck, you're in a very dark place, a negative place, please reach out. Eventually in the show, we'll have some, as the show evolves, we'll have some resources for you to be able to tap into those things. But for now, somebody that loves and cares about you, please reach out to them. Don't just think business, right? Think values, right? A lot of times people that get on the BKMR, they're entrepreneurs. They're looking for their breakthrough, the mindset shift, the tools to have that breakthrough. Don't just think about it from a business perspective. Think about it from a values perspective, because values transcend across your personal life and your business life, your corporate life, your long-term, short-term relationship are all across that value set. So take a look at your values. If you guys have read, which I know almost everybody that taps into the show has, if they haven't finished it, but they have purchased the 168 game book, one of the things that we walk you into, the whole premise of the book is to identify your morals, values, and principles so that you know how to then take back control of your life and be a time ownership master, hashtag Tom. Reflection on this: what disciplines can improve your decisions? Right. So think about things that you're kind of wishy-washy on, that you flop back and forth on decision making. How about this? If you're in a relationship or married, hey, what's for dinner? What would you like for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? Right. Back and forth. Right. And what is that? That's a byproduct of two people that either are being ultra respectful and don't want to, which is usually not the case. Usually the case is that they really don't know. They're like, I don't know what I'm in a mood for. So this person doesn't know, the other person knows, and back and forth it goes, right? How about this? How about have a decision made when you sit down and do your 168 game on Sundays or whenever you do it, actually mapping that out. What nights you're going to eat at home, what nights you're going out to dinner, all those kind of things. Actually have a plan for that. Guess what happens when you free up the brain from having to make those kind of decisions on the fly? It can use that mental energy on other things that are more important, right? Than what are we having for dinner? So I highly recommend that you focus on that. All right, let's go back. Mindset number 4. Mindset number 4. Invert, always invert, right? So what does the word invert mean? It means we flip it over, we turn it on its head, right? Inverted. Ask not just how to win, but what causes failure. So think about things that have happened in the past that you feel like you failed at. What led up to that? What were the series of decisions you made? What were the series of steps you took that led to that? And it's clear as day then how to do that. Well, let's say it was something more complex. Guess what we have today? We have OpenAI, Chat, Gronk, you got DeepSeek, all these things. Kurt mentioned Perplexity. All these tools now where you can put the scenario in there and say, hey, I had this happen in the past. This is the steps I went about. This was my mindset from it. And these were the results. Do you have recommendations on how I can solve that? Right. Or bring it to BKMR, right? Bring it to once we move along and the website's finished and all the things, we'll have resources for you, a place to have an open dialogue, chat, a blog, all that kind of stuff will be available for you guys as resources. We'll have tons of resources for you once it's up and running. So ask what caused the failure. Take a step back. That's what business owners do. People that run successful companies, when something goes wrong, they say, all right, all pause, right? In the military, we call it a hot wash, right? After an evolution, after an operation, after a deployment, or a training exercise, we do something called a hot wash, which means is we bring the key stakeholders together and we say, okay, how did things go? What went well? What went bad? Okay, for the things that went well, how do we amplify those and double down those? The things that didn't go well, how do we solve them? Or do we just eliminate that thing completely? I highly recommend you do that in something that you want to change that you felt like it didn't work. It was a failure. Avoid time wasters to steal your legacy. Okay, when you do, obviously, if you read the book, we help you with that. There's a whole strategy chapter on how to identify the time wasters. Think about that. Everything that's taking a second, a minute, an hour of your time is stealing your legacy. It is robbing your future self. It's robbing future generations of a life that they can have that you want to leave behind for them, whatever it is, whether it's a set of values and goals and principles that you not only wrote down, but you live by, that you want to pass on to them. It's not always about money. A lot of times it's about traditions and values and principles of what that family stands for, right? In the Corman family, we have principles that we had all of our family members put together what are some things that represent the Corman family that align with Korman, right? So we wanted something for each of the letters of our last name that reflects on who we are and legacy. And then we created a family crest. We got input from all of our kids and things that I talked to my grandparents about, and our family didn't have a family crest because my grandparents, my dad, were immigrants. And so we wanted a family crest. We wanted something that represented the Corman family name, the legacy that's going to pass on for generations. So I didn't do that in a silo by myself. I did that with our kids and asked them for feedback from my wife and my kids and said, what do you guys think? Like, what represents the Corman name, the Corman legacy? What do we want it to stand for? Let's say we're not quite there yet. What do we want it to stand for? So we have a cool acronym for that's set up for the Corman last name. And on a future episode, I'll share that with you guys when we're actually talking about the subject of legacy. Reflection on this. What's one thing, okay, we keep going back to this thing. What's one thing you'll stop doing today? Okay, you don't have to unmute your mic, but I want you to write it right now. I'm going to give you a couple seconds. What's one thing you're going to stop doing today? That you know for a fact, whether it's something you're eating, something you do with your time, something you say that you know is negative. What's one thing that you're going to stop doing today? Just one. That's it. Keep it simple. Right? Everything we do in BKMR is the KISS principle. Keep it simple, Susan. Right? We're not going to say the other S, but we'll say it's, Shelly, Sam, whatever you want. KISS, keep it simple, Sam. One thing. Got a couple seconds left. All right. Mindset number 5, think independently. Think independently. Stop following the crowd. Stop following the herd. Be the example. Stop saying, if they say that you're different, you're weird, something's wrong with you, and you know that you are changing, you take that as the biggest compliment in the world, as a bad encouragement. You say, ooh, like in the Lion King, ooh, Mufasa. Yeah, say it again. Say it again. Right? Every time they say you're different, you're weird, you've changed, you're like, absolutely. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for saying that. And they're thinking, oh, yeah, she's definitely lost it. He's definitely lost it. Right? Because that's what you want. We found what happens when we follow the herd, right? We've seen what happens when we follow the rest of what everybody else is doing, everybody else with their finances, right? When we expose things to people in our other company, Built for Life Financial Agency, people go, well, that can't be possible. I have never heard of that. Why isn't everybody doing it? I say, what have you gotten by following everybody else so far? You're not where you want to be financially. So doesn't it make sense that if you've done what everybody else has done or doing and it's not got you there, you got to change? And they go, yeah, no, it makes logical sense. Okay. So be the example. Surround yourself with faith-driven legacy builders. Okay. This is for me. This is my recommendation. Faith is very broad. It's an understanding of what you believe in. What is it you believe in? And surround yourself with people that, or maybe your faith is a little shaky or it's on the edge. You're not quite sure. Maybe you believe something for years and now you're questioning that. There's nothing wrong with that. You should question everything. You should always be curious, because guess what happens when you're curious? You prove one side one way or the other when you get curious. If you follow the herd, like being blinded, like on blinders, or being brainwashed, guess what you get? That's what you get. You get being brainwashed or blinders on when you start. One thing that's amazing about being curious, right? And there's many businesses, there's many religions out there that shun you if you start to ask questions. My challenge to you as we go on this journey of crushing life and living the life that God intended us to, living the life that you want to live, living the life that sets your soul on fire. We're all in this together, right? This is the human race. We're all in this together. One of the things that I will tell you is that when you get curious, you get to prove to yourself once and for all that what you believe is correct. If you never ask questions or challenge the status quo, you just stay there. So surround yourself with faith and alignment with what you believe, those type of leaders. Find those leaders and connect with them. Can I lunch you? Can we do a virtual coffee? Can we have coffee together? Okay, here's a question for you. I want you guys to ponder. We'll talk about this next week. Think about who's your tribe, right? Who's the group of people that if you could develop a mastermind alliance, right? Mr. Kurt Narveson has built one for me that oversees all of our companies. That thing is absolutely amazing. I'm having a blast with it. I'm just telling you, if you're not embracing the insane new technology today responsibly, I'll say that again, responsibly, one more time, responsibly, because it can be used for bad, but it can be used insanely for good. If you're not testing it out, learning about it, please do. Please do. I promise it will help you if you start to just get to understand it. Who's your tribe? Who do you say, these are my people? Like when you see a group of people, they're killing it in their faith, they're killing it in relationships and marriage, they're killing it in business and in their workplace. Who's that? What does that look like? Who's your tribe? All right, let's see. Number 6, use checklists. Know about biases, right? Know the biases that you have, right? And that you tend to make decisions through that lens of biases. Do an inventory of those things. Like say, why do I always make a decision to do this? Get curious. I'm telling you, this world today wants us to compare everything. They want us to compare against our brothers or sisters, our mom and our dad, our neighbors, everybody on social media. They want us to compare. And a compare creates a higher level of anxiety, a higher level of depression. Replace the compare word with another C word, curious. Just ask more questions. Just ask the simple question. Why does that happen? Why? Get used to asking why. And again, like back to when you were a little kid, right? And you learned how to speak, right? We all know that those have children, when they understand, they start with, man, why? I just can't wait for them to start talking so I can understand, so I can have a conversation with them and they can tell me what they want. Then he keep asking why, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Why? And we're like, that's what we need to do. There's a reason why. Their brain is learning at exponential rate when they're asking those questions. Why did we stop doing that?
Why did we stop doing that as adults? Being curious, asking why. I'm going to challenge you. Start asking why again. Build checklists for time, money, and mindset decisions. Okay. Set it up using technology, using CRMs, checklists, tools, apps. Use those things to track that. Use just your simple, thing. I ask my phone all the time. I ask my phone all the time. I ask it, hey, set a reminder for this, book this appointment, right? Because I'm on the go all the time. And it's just constantly there. And I constantly put those in place over and over and over again so I don't forget. Use checklists, use lists, use paper, use reminders. And help you with mindset decisions. If you've made a decision today, or I'm challenging you to make a decision about things, make sure that you have a technique, a mechanism, an accountability system, accountability partner to help you with that. And here's my challenge to you, and it's a reflection. What checklist can you build this week? What's the one thing you made a decision on previously? And then what is the checklist around that? What do you need to do? Who are the people you need to reach out to that you want part of your tribe? They're not, you know who they are. You're like, man, if this person was part of my tribe, I would crush it. Well, find out how to get in touch with them. Maybe they're a family friend. Maybe there's somebody in business, somebody you used to work with. Reach out to them and say, hey, look, I'm putting my tribe together. Call whatever you want. Say I've made some declaration in my life that I'm going to change, and you're somebody I always looked up to. And give them that compliment. Explain to them why you're reaching out and say, I'd like for you to be part of my tribe, right? Part of my ecosystem. And then say, can we grab lunch together? Can we do coffee, a virtual coffee or in person, whatever. But what checklist can you build this week? And last one is 7. Bet big when the odds are right? Bet big when odds. So first, the first part is getting the odds in our favor. And then we're going to double down. Bet big when the odds are right. You don't need many bets, just smart ones. Right? If you look at Warren Buffett's portfolio, Charlie Munger's portfolio, they do own a lot of companies. But at the beginning, when they were killing it and crushing it and building exponential wealth over and over and over again, there was a couple small bets that they doubled down on in the investment world that made them super wealthy and attracted other people to them to want to buy their companies or to invest in, because they've created a formula of some simple strategies they doubled down on over and over and over again. So you don't need to make many, but you need to double down on the smart ones, right? How do you know when it's a smart one? When you start to see change and you like the change. Now you double down on that. Don't add 4 or 5 or 6, 7 other things. Just stay on that one. We've been on this mantra for over 5 weeks now on what is that one thing. Wait for the fat pitch and swing with purpose. Right? Everybody's ever played baseball or wiffle ball or t-ball. You know what it's like when that beautiful pitch comes in, right? And you're like, oh my God, here it is. I've been waiting forever for this. And you knock that sucker out the park. That's what you're doing. And you know how you get those? You got to be in a game. You got to be at bats. You got to be on the field. You got to be in the batter's box. If you're not, you'll never get that pitch, right? And guess what you got to do? You got to strike out a couple times. You need more at bats. You need more at bats, more times in a batter's box, so that perfect fat pitch comes across there and you knock that sucker out of the park. And again, everything's real talk on here. We're not talking about hype or anything like that. This is what we're talking about. Use the strategy that we just went over today, the strategies we had our guest speaker last week, the strategy we talked about before, all the little things you're doing, those strategies, put them in place. Don't come here every week to just fill in an hour of your time at lunch and to be entertained. That's not why we created this channel. We created this channel because I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, right? And I'm still going through stuff. And I realized that God gave me some incredible talents and gifts that I didn't realize I had. And I said, you know what if I can make a difference in one person's life? Just one, it's all worth it. The time, energy, putting it together, putting a team together, the radio show, the podcast, the investment, the topics we come up with, getting guest speakers and all that stuff, all of it. It's all worth it if this movement, Bill Corman's Mindset Revolution, BKMR, changes one person's life. Now, I know it's going to change millions, but it would all be worth it if it changes one. Think about that for yourself. If that one thing that you've made a decision to double down and focus on and get clear on, that one thing, what would your life look like if it actually moves the needle, if it actually works? There's a thought for you right there. All right, integration application, and got one more after this, and I think we'll wrap it up. These moves are your time ownership framework, right? So these things that you're doing, you're going to see how, in the big scheme of things, of becoming a time ownership master, how those things move the needle. You're going to see that over and over and over again. It's going to start to reveal itself. If you don't pull the seed out of the ground and look to see if the bamboo's growing, just double down on that one thing and put your head down. Choose one move this week and put in action. Again, it's another call to action we've been talking about for 6 weeks now. The last thing is legacy is built by movement, not intention, right? You can have all the intention in the world, right? Think about it. We talked about it earlier about the graveyard. Those people that between the dash, so many people had so much intention and so much potential, and it ended there. That's where it ended up. It ended in the ground, or in the other place when you get cremated, the vaults or anything like that, where the body goes when it didn't, when it's all over with, right? For me, I believe it's just the body, and my soul's going to heaven, eternal life. That's just what I believe. But whatever you believe. But at the end of the day, we're all leaving this human race one way, right? And that's not alive. And so the question is that legacy is built by movement, not intentions. You have to be moving. You have to make things. You got to try things, put things in place. Okay. Your legacy moves forward, right? So you guys know the 4 pillars I live by. Many of our companies we own live by these same pillars: faith, family, fitness, and finance, in that order. Figure out, if that doesn't resonate with you, figure out what yours is. What is your value system, right? What are your morals, values, and principles? And what's the value system? How do you gauge? When somebody asks, how do you make decisions? This is how we make decisions in our family. Faith first, family after that, fitness, stay healthy, get healthy. And in finance, the money comes last. We found that if we take care of the first 3, the last one takes care of itself. Commit your work to the Lord, and he will establish your plans. This is for me. Again, this is how I believe. I'm giving you guys the framework that I operate by. I'm not saying that part has to be for you. Again, we respect everybody from every background, whatever your faith is, wherever you get your energy from. Just know that, we respect that 100%. And again, you can schedule a legacy call, today if you wanted to learn about, how to do that, move the needle. We're going to have some more things happening with BKMR in the future, where you can work with me or one of the folks on our team to help you with mindset shift. And again, I want to thank you again for investing your time in yourself, making a decision to change your life and your thought process, that when you change the thought process, it changes your life. Your time is your legacy. Every second that you spend of life that we're above ground, every second of life that we have, it's going somewhere. Every second is going somewhere. It's depositing into doing nothing, which is the same as going backwards because you're focused on, or you're investing time for the future, for your actual future. Right. So that's the question. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want your last name to stand for? The last name on the back of your jersey. What do you want that to stand for? And that's it for me. Let me stop sharing. I can see everybody. All right, there we go. So there's the seven principles that billionaires, right? Again, that's where I got that from. I got it from Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger. There's one principle in there from Elon Musk. There's one principle actually in there from Jeff Bezos. These are billionaire principles. These are the foundational things that they live by every single day that you and I can copy. There was nothing in there that requires you to have a certain amount of money to do it, right? It was all simple things that we can do in our lives starting today, right now, right now, happening right now. So any last minute or any thoughts before we wrap up? We got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just got one thing I'd like to add. I know you talked about, we shouldn't keep checking the seed in the ground as it's growing. There was actually a presentation that Brian Carruthers did on stage a while ago. I don't know if you remember this or not, Bill, but he was talking to the group about, always checking yourself and all those types of things. And this one stuck with me. He had a microwave on stage, and he put a bag of microwave popcorn in it, and he turned it on. And every 5 seconds, he opened up the door to see if it was popping. And guess what? It never popped. But then he put it in there and he let it run for a minute and let it go. And guess what? He had popcorn all over the place. So that's a visualization that stuck with me. And I know when you were going through that, and I just wanted to share that in case, that's something else. If I can't remember what presentation it is, I'll see if I can find it and share it. But it was a very, very moving thing of just kind of how we all are. And, we're always checking along the way, and we have to be patient. And you just need to believe that it's going to do. And you're following the process, and you do that, and you put it in, and you let it, sometimes it percolates and you don't see what it's doing. But then all of a sudden, before you know, you've got a microwave full of popcorn and it's spilling all over the floor.
That's powerful. I do remember that one. I was actually at a award ceremony when he did it the first time, watching him share that with the crowd, and everybody went nuts. So yeah, thank you for that. As a reminder, it's great. That's for everybody. So you guys watching this on replay, think about that all the time, right? Every time you open up the door before the popcorn's over, it's never going to pop. So stop worrying about it. What you have solace in or are confident knowing is that you're copying something that somebody's already done. There's already an example that somebody has done that over and over and over again and had the results that you want. So you're going to get the same results. You just got to stick to it. That's awesome, Kurt. Thank you.
I'll drop one.
Go ahead, Vic.
There's a word we kept hearing throughout, and that was reflection, which is I was speaking to. So I'm going to drop something and say, we're all in a race, but it's our journey. It's our own race. Pace it where you want to go. You're the one in control. We have our mindset. So race, reflection, A for action, C, take the courage inside of you, make your decisions, do it with enthusiasm.
Wow, there we go. That's a great way to finish it right there. So race, guys. Hopefully you wrote that down. Go back and watch it so you know the acronym that it stands for. We're all in this human race together. Run that race, Vic just said. Write the acronym down and let's go crush it together. You guys have an amazing, blessed weekend. We will see you back next Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Bill Corman's Mindset Revolution. Have a great day. God bless.